Here is the bug that has eaten 1,000 weekends. A user types into a search box. Each keystroke fires a request. The network returns the responses out of order, and the wrong results land on screen. For a decade, the React community treated this as a fact of life. React 19 quietly made it go away. Today, the channel walks through why the useEffect fetch pattern is finally on its way out. This is the classic shape: a query state, a results state, a loading flag, an error slot, and a useEffect that runs every time the query changes. Look at the console output. When a user types the letters A, then a B, then a C in quick succession, the network is free to resolve those three requests in any order. The response for ABC lands first, then the response for the single letter A, then AB. Whichever promise finishes last wins the render. The user sees results for the wrong word. 5 things go wrong here, and only one of them is the race. First, the race itself. Promises resolve in whatever order the network decides. Second, strict mode in development runs every effect twice, so the bug shows up even on a single keystroke. Third, the cleanup story is painful. To do this correctly, the developer has to track an ignore flag inside the effect and check it before every state update. Fourth, no suspense integration. The component cannot participate in a parent loading boundary. Fifth, loading state and error state have to be wired up by hand every single time. Here is the same feature rewritten. The search component holds the query. A child component named results calls the new use hook on a promise and renders the data directly. A suspense boundary wraps that child with a key tied to the current query. That key is the whole trick. When the query changes, React unmounts the old boundary, throws away the in-flight promise, and mounts a fresh one. No race, no loading flag, no cleanup function. About half the code, and the visible result is correct. 4 things come for free with this pattern. First, race conditions vanish because the keyed suspense boundary throws away the stale subtree before its promise can paint. Second, the loading UI is just the suspense fallback, no Boolean flag required. Third, errors bubble to the nearest error boundary, so the try-catch chain disappears. Fourth, there is no cleanup function to write. Unmounting drops the red automatically. Less code, fewer states to think about, and the correct answer by construction. Now the honest part. useEffect is not dead. It is still the right tool for a real set of jobs. Subscribing to a WebSocket or an event emitter, attaching window or document event listeners, driving imperative DOM libraries like a chart or a map, syncing state out to a non-React system such as local storage, or an analytics SDK. For form mutations, there is the new useActionState hook paired with server actions. But that is a separate conversation. The rule of thumb is simple. If the effect is reading data, reach for use and suspense. If the effect is talking to something outside React, useEffect still earns its keep. So the headline is a little spicy on purpose. useEffect is not dead. The useEffect fetch pattern is. For reads, reach for the use hook and a keyed suspense boundary. For subscriptions and listeners and DOM glue, useEffect is still in the toolbox. The race condition that ate the weekend was never really the developer's fault. It was the wrong tool for the job, and React 19 finally shipped the right one.